I ordered Puff some more food and he already has it. I got him some fresh lettuce. Bearded dragons can have bananas, but not a whole lot. Less than 5% of their diet. I Googled it. So Puff has never had banana before. I gave him a small chunk to go with his fresh lettuce. And he likes it. I can tell my bearded dragon his favorite food is the super worms. He loves those things. And a shout out to PetSmart. Yeah. I can tell Puff is comfortable with his living arrangements. He doesn't like scratch on the glass as much as he used to. He just chills out and does his thing. Ideally, if you have a bearded dragon, you want to get a light bulb, the heating lights. You want it to be a 100-watt heating light bulb. It keeps his cage between 107 to like 90 degrees. Somewhere in that little sweet spot there, because that's what they need. And those heating lights last a long time. What up, Facebook? Social media. Puff has been missing for 5 days. We've been looking for him nonstop. I've been putting reports out, just spreading the word, doing what I can to look for him. And I still haven't found him yet. Puff is doing just fine, man. He chills out in his enclosure. He lounges underneath his heat lamp and just does his thing. I moved his hideaway back over to where it was originally. He likes it underneath the heat lamp. So yeah, I let Puff just chill out and do his thing, and I'll occasionally take him out to get exercise and run around the apartment and then to soak in a nice hot bathtub. Not too hot, mind you, just hot enough to be like, if it's relaxing to my touch, then I know Puff is going to love it. I'm very protective of my lizard. And I'm so glad Ian let me have first pick. You have no idea. I love my bearded dragon, dude. He's bad to the fucking bone, I love my bearded dragon. Okay. I've always wanted a reptile, and I've grown up with dogs my entire life. And don't get it twisted, I love dogs. But when Obi, Lily, and Chance passed away, it's hard. So, yeah, I'm the proud owner of an Australian bearded dragon. And if you take one look at him, he's content. Like, if anything, he's spoiled. He really is. Because right now, my depression is through the roof. It is. My depression is through the damn roof. I love Puff. I love him. He's my favorite lizard. And I've done everything in my power to look for him, and still he hasn't turned up. If you have a bearded dragon and you want to feed them lettuce, romaine lettuce is a bearded dragon's favorite kind of lettuce. And I'll DoorDash him lettuce from the local Albertsons. It's just a big old head of romaine lettuce. And it's like, the kind you go to the vegetable section of the grocery store, and there it is. There it fucking is, YouTube. Now, the websites I've been getting my expert research from have said, and I quote, that if Puff doesn't show back up in the next 11 days, then it might be time to panic. He's been gone for 5 days now. And I don't know what to fucking do. I do not know what the fuck to do. I've already filed a report with Metro. I've stuck up missing flyers at my apartments. Well, the ones that I live at. And I spent like the last 5 days combing through the grass looking for him. My dad has practically helped. My mom has helped. My sister Tiana is helping. And People keep asking me about Puff. Where is he at? Where is he at? Where is he at? I don't fucking know, dude. Yeah, Puff loves his romaine lettuce. He's an adult bearded dragon, so you don't gotta feed him but every 3 days. And he's content. I fed him like twice in the last couple of days. So give it about two days or so, and I'll check up on him as far as the food goes. And if his lettuce is dried up from him not eating it, then I replace it with fresh lettuce and a little bit of calcium powder, and he's good. Bearded dragons are surprisingly easy to take care of if you know what you're doing. And how you think I fucking feel, dude? You know, I love Puff to death, and if I lose him, I'm never going to be happy in life again. Like, this is bullshit. Now, about 2 days ago, I lost this cup and then I found it, so I'm confident that I'll find Puff again. We've been having unusually warm weather for this time of year for Casper, so I'm not complaining about that. Now, with bearded dragons, when it's cold outside, they will find a place and they will bury themselves underground. But I'm at a loss for words. I can't find him. I looked everywhere for the little bastard. And I'm doing a damn good job of taking care of Puff, otherwise Metro would have taken him away, which stunningly hasn't worked. You know that? People tried so hard to call animal control on me, try to do a wellness check on my lizard, and it didn't work. Last time Metro came to check on me and Puff, they're like, it's clear you're doing a good job with your lizard. We're not going to bother you again with this. And I'm like, oh, okay. I already let Metro know on Facebook publicly that I'm Kingcobrajfs. I own a bearded dragon that I'm proud to call my pets and my brother and my companion, you know. And Puff adores me, dude. I let him out of his enclosure one time and I stepped into the kitchen and I was just bitching to myself, and Puff came into the kitchen to see if I was doing okay. He kind of looked up at me like, dude, what's the matter? And I immediately quit complaining because it was like, you know, like I love that fucking lizard. He brought me so much joy and happiness. And I could tell Puff loved me because one time when I was standing in the kitchen, bitching to myself, Puff came walking into the kitchen to check on me, make sure I was doing okay. I managed to hand feed Puff a couple times. I'll grab a super worm and I'll dangle it in front of his face and he'll eat it out of my hand. Now Puff doesn't scratch on his cage because he wants out. He doesn't do that anymore because his cage is properly heated, you know. And Wyoming's very hot and very dry, or otherwise very cold in the winter. So yeah, he does have a water dish in his enclosure for him to like bathe in and play around in and like get drinks of water. So yeah, I love Puff. He's just awesome, dude. I've never heard of bearded dragons until my buddy Ian showed me Puff. And Ian came over one time and we were getting drunk together and he told me how he had to move out of the apartment complex and he couldn't take Puff with me. And he said, uh, are you interested? And I said, yeah, I'd love to take Puff off your hands. At first, I was kind of like a little nervous, like, oh, geez. But now that I know what I'm doing, it's no big deal. Excuse me. You've seen Puff, dude, when he just chills out on my shoulder and does his thing, or he'll crawl on top of my hats. Puff brought out something in me that was good for me. My temper's gotten better as a result of having him. So if I lose Puff, I'm going to be so devastated, Facebook. And you can't just replace him with another bearded dragon, dude. You really can't. Puff was one of a kind. You know? Now, Metro would have been more quick to respond to my missing Puff if my fucking asshole YouTube trolls hadn't harassed them. So if you can make time for it, it's definitely worth it. I love my bearded dragon. He's just awesome. And my trolls are so pissed off that Puff makes me happy. They've tried everything to fuck with me on it. And it hasn't worked. And it's like, you know what my trolls could do? They could get a bearded dragon for themselves if they're so obsessed with Puff. But their hatred of me would ruin their bearded dragon. My trolls don't have the time to raise a bearded dragon. Their hatred for Cobra consumes their life. And there's nothing you can do about it. Pets run away. It's what they do. They're animals. They're instincts. We're going to keep looking for them as much as we can. And I would sacrifice my clock tower dream house to see Puff safely return to me in my arms so I can put him back in his tank. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I've done everything I can to look for him, and I cannot find him, dude. It is seriously irritating. No, I love Puff. He's amazing. He's got really beautiful markings. He's a handsome bearded dragon. And when he gets pissed off, he puffs up like a cobra. He flattens out. He lets you know, which makes his body language really easy to read. But that's the only similarity that Puff has to an actual cobra. Outside of that, different species of reptile kind of thing. And snakes are a lot different, and I've never had a reptile before, so Puff is just great for getting my hands wet, for getting used to. I keep hoping that he'll just pop up one day, like I'll be outside having a cigarette and he'll come walking up to me like, hey, I know you. And I filed a report with the police department, and they said, well, we'll get someone out there as soon as we can. That was like 3 days ago. And I'm like, okay, they actually do have people that are, part of the non-emergency pet finding squad. I put some rocks in Puff's enclosure to give it some texture, and he don't mind it in the slightest. In fact, he likes it. He'll play with the rocks and knock them against the glass. I put a pile of rocks and kind of scatter them here and there. And I'm like, okay, Puff, these are your rocks. You put them where you want to put them. And he did, too. He put the rocks exactly where he wants to put them. So he's very content. And I get it. They've got 10 million calls. The one time I needed Metro to come out here and help me look. They're like, oh, well, we're busy. We have all these calls on board. Like, I don't know what the fuck to do, YouTube. I really don't. Facebook, I am at a loss for words. If I don't get Puff back, I'm going to be devastated. You have no fucking idea. Like, how much depressing shit can one person take in their life, dude? Sincerely. I've been bullied my entire life. People just love to go out of their way to fucking fuck with me and harass me, and there's nothing I can do about it. I haven't had a girlfriend in practically 6 years. going through a 2-week ban on YouTube, and losing Puff is just the cherry on top of the bullshit cake. It really is. I'm tired of it, Facebook.